Real professionals in the show. Real professionals, guys. Real professionals. Oh my God. What the hell? Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Dad Hat Sports Show. That's right, Dad Hat Chronicle Sports Show. How was everybody doing? How are we doing today, gentlemen?
Doing okay. How are you doing, Ed?
Come on, me, baby. You know I'm as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we're just hanging out. First of all, Eric and Patrick, gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Donnie decided that he has to work or something, whatever, dude.
Don't worry, he stood me up too already, so it's okay.
See, boom.
Hey, Patrick,
Yes.
wake up.
Wake up.
Did you take a nap?
No,
I did not.
wake up.
Oh, am I frozen already?
No, you told me to wake you up when September ends.
Wow.
Oh,
Got him. Thank you.
wow.
Thank you.
He did. There go. He
Thank
went
you.
there, didn't he?
Thank you.
We're gonna go ahead and continue on with that. Without that,
I'd like to point out that was not me this time that came up with that.
oh my God, that was not.
That's
you.
a good one, though. That's a good one. I like that one.
I'll give
Thank
you.
Just for you.
You know what? It is what it is. All right, gentlemen, let's go ahead and get going. Well, Miss Influencer is already in the works. See, divorce is already in the works.
She's mad because she did that cool comment joke.
Oh my God, that was good. All right, Patrick, Mr. Prospector, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay. Yeah.
Right.
Happy to be here with everyone. Shout out to the chat. And
Look, we got
Yeah.
Mrs. Mayor on here, and Mr. Mayor can't even
That's
be
right.
on.
I know, right?
You should
Well,
send
that's
her the
because-
link. Have
that's
her come on. That'd be
I
so
know,
funny
right?
if
We
she
should
came
have.
on.
We should have.
we should have Mrs. Mayor
come
on.
instead of Donnie.
What
Mrs.
is
Mayor
she?
is a real one.
What is she, 4-0 now in fantasy?
She is.
Dude, undefeated.
I lost to Ed.
You did. You lost it. You lost it. We were tied there for a second.
It was a pretty close.
Yeah, but
matchup
then
for the most
at
part,
the end
but-
just took off. Yeah, it was just.
If,
But it
if
was.
I'd played anyone but Lynn or Logan, I would have lost last week. But I had Lynn, so
And Lynn is over.
Yep.
I think she's the only one that hasn't won a game yet in our fantasy league.
Brett's trying to cover it up now.
Okay, see, there he goes. He was like, yeah, he was talking all this trash talk, right? He goes like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, all this, and then look at him, couldn't do it. Rhonda, undefeated in the Dad Hat
Yeah.
Chronicles
and still,
fantasy football. That's right.
and still,
The only one. So, all right, my friend, what are you drinking? What are you wearing?
so yeah. Tonight I got 2 drinks. Got the water,
All right. Okay.
and then I've got my trusty Gatorade. So
Joe wants to know where's this gambler's hat.
It's at my house. You can come over and get it.
What's up, Virgil?
well, you know what? I bet you can bet on the fact he's gonna come over and get it.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
I haven't
Yes,
been
sir.
over to his house yet since I got
Yeah.
back home, but I did grab your hat. I have it with me.
He
Yeah,
didn't grab my hat. So just so
Mrs.
you
Mayor
know.
makes a good
I
point.
had-
Donnie hasn't won either. Sorry.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Sorry, Eric.
No, I was gonna say I had your hat with me, Ed, but you didn't make it, so I still have it with me.
I know, Joe. It's all right.
I don't
We'll
think I
get-
have your new address either, so I probably better get
I'll
that.
text it to you.
Okay.
All right. So now that we're still with you, my friend, what are you wearing? What are we drinking tonight, man?
Did you say what hat you're wearing?
Oh, I did
No,
not.
Patrick did not. No.
Yeah, so it's an
I'll have
LSU
it.
hat.
Ugh.
Yeah, an LSU trucker hat. So, in the foam style that Ed loves so very much. And so yeah.
So gross.
Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing tonight.
Are you
All right.
surviving?
So far, we were
Eye of the
in
tiger.
fact, Eye of the Tiger. Yeah. Well, speaking of surviving, honestly, shout out to prayers for everyone that suffered from Hurricane Helene.
Yep.
Where I am specifically, we were fortunate, but Western North Carolina,
Yeah,
Southern
Asheville.
Georgia, Florida, the
Dude,
the Big Bend to Florida.
Boone, North Carolina, all of that, man.
so-
It's bad.
So,
dude.
in all seriousness, to all those who were affected, please know you're in our thoughts and prayers, and I hope that hope that everything can be rebuilt soon. So,
Yep, and that's where Mr. Mayor is trying to
yep.
out with all
So
the
shout out to Mr. Mayor for doing his part. And
He's doing his part, but we're still going to give him crap.
absolutely,
As
I
we
didn't say we
should.
couldn't give him crap. So
Absolutely.
big shout out, Virgil. Yeah, Phil, hope you're doing okay. I know down that way there was you what? Yeah,
Is it possible to do multiple divorces?
Yeah, it's happening. She's just filing them.
it's happening right now.
Oh my god!
How come
hope everyone's
she's
doing okay.
obsessed with Patrick's jokes, but she hates mine?
Well, because you're married. That's what happens, man. That's how it goes. And then shout out to Major League Brews on Instagram. What's going on, my friend? No Bad Hops podcast. So make sure you guys check them.
Fantastic
check those guys
podcast.
out. So
shout out to our sponsor, Old Fort Baseball Co.
He was in the chat earlier.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Shout out to Old Fort, our sponsor of the show. Make sure you guys go check out the support local baseball. That has an awesome T-shirt, awesome hat. It's a great snapback. So make sure you guys are the other way around. The other way.
Oh, the other way.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is.
Well, off of my screen, it's over this way.
No. Just get right there. Stay right there. There it is.
Right over there, guys.
So make sure you guys check him out on their website, all socials. Follow him because awesome dude with cool gear. So
good. So
the
she
second divorce is from Patrick for the LSU hat. There it is.
Good. She divorced both of us. I like it.
Mrs. Influencer, but what if I say go Pokes?
No, it doesn't matter because you got wearing an LSU
and she'll say,
hat.
"Yeah, did you see that game against Kansas State when we were in Vegas?"
Nope. I didn't see it in Vegas, but I did see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it in Vegas either.
The team didn't see it either.
So, anyways, listen, Eric, what are you wearing? What are you drinking, my friend?
So I got myself the Las Vegas Gamblers hat. Was just out at AAA National Championship weekend. Got to hang out with Val, Paul, Amy, my wife, Mrs. Influencer, and her best friend Samantha. So we had a fun time out there. Got this hat at the game, and then I have it's called Scare Bear. It's a kiwi sour from Martin House Brewing out of Fort Worth. They have my favorite beer, I think, of all time. But yeah, it's called Scare Bears. It's a kiwi sour.
Kiwi sour. That sounds delicious.
It does sound very good.
All right. And as for myself, I'm wearing my Cleveland Guardians Dad Hat from 47. It's a 47 cleanup. It's a beautiful cap. But I'm tonight. This is the first of the month. So I am doing a challenge. Just so you guys know, I'm doing Sober October. So pray for me. Okay. We'll see how this goes. Day one, and I already want a beer.
By the way, big shout out to Phil. Drove around my hometown until I got a good enough signal to watch the show. He's got his priorities in order.
That's right. I appreciate you, Phil. Good man.
Yeah. Thanks, Phil.
Virgil, that was not a game, and we agree. It was not good. Anyways, boys, let's get started, okay? So I really want to get started with the Monday doubleheader game. Actually, you know what? I think it's just really we should only talk about the first game because the second game was kind of like whatever. No one has asked, but I'm wearing my pink Royals hat, drinking a Yingling flight. Okay, all right.
Good for you, Joe.
Listen, if you guys want to put what you guys are wearing, you got to drink it. What hat you're wearing? Put it in the chat. We'll put it up there.
You can tell
Joe,
he's
it's a Royals hat until you can get your gambler's hat, right?
Yeah, he got it's the khaki Patrick with the red.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
nice.
The one he got. So
nice.
I might be ordering one of those this weekend.
You can see he's finally back on our show because you're back on Twitter. So
I am back on Twitter. You're welcome. I did it just for Joe. So hey, listen, our viewership is already up because of this. So I really appreciate you guys joining us. We are live on Twitter. I will still going. You know what, Brett? We didn't need to have all that information.
Yeah.
We didn't need all of that.
Yeah, Brett, there's certain comments we will not put up on screen, and that is one of them. That is one of them, my friend.
Not wearing a hat. See, now you're definitely not going to put that comment on. Hey, no. Okay, so let's talk about Monday. Like, listen, that first game, dude, that was a wild back and forth game. Actually, you know what? I should say, in my opinion, I think it was meh until like the sixth inning. And after the sixth inning, that's when the game really got good.
You're talking Braves Mets, right?
Yeah.
Well, you said double header, so I didn't know if you're talking about Monday Night Football double header.
Yeah, no, not Monday night. We're talking about football, baseball right now. Baseball.
Yeah, because who they throw, Schwellenbach.
Mhm.
Schwallenbach. Yep.
and he was almost unhittable through about 7 innings.
He was.
And then all of a sudden, the Mets came alive, and they were down 3-0, had a 6-run eighth. Okay, up 6-3, and then all of a sudden, Braves came back with a 4-run bottom of the eighth, going up 7-6, and then Lindor hit that 2-run. Yeah, that last part of that, we were chatting about that on Monday, and that last couple innings was wild in that game.
8th inning, 6 runs by the Mets, 4 runs by the Braves. The Mets scored 2 in the 9th, right? So it was like, and that was that Lindor home run right there that just, sealed the deal. And that game was wild. And it was so much fun, right? Like, I mean, this is what we've been talking about, right? Like, finally we have a playoff system, including the wild card, in which now all of these games are like legit. Like, you got to watch these games, because if you don't, you got to play them. If you don't, you might miss out. Arizona, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I thought I was agreeing with Virgil. That's what I thought we were going to talk about.
No, we are not touching that game at all.
The Dolphins are absolute garbage without a quarterback.
Great point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that make Tua look even better as a quarterback?
Yeah, well, yeah, because they at least can get the ball to Tyreek, and
they can win games.
H.A.N. didn't do a whole lot. I mean, Huntley, I thought, was okay. He didn't get a whole lot of looks behind Lamar, but I thought he would be decent enough. And who came in? Because Levis got hurt. So who came in for Levis?
So Will Levis kind of Mason Rudolph.
Rudolph, that's right.
Yeah,
your favorite guy he's the Oklahoma State guy, but then he was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, F that dude.
Everyone's favorite.
Yeah, he's a turd nugget. So Will Levis was hurt. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they were talking about. He really wasn't, because he was trying to get back to play, and the head coach was like, "No, we're good." So.
Well, back-to-back go Pokes.
Okay, Ms. Influencer and Virgil. Okay, all right now. Look at that. So, but anyways, listen, that game, the Mets clinched their first playoff game in quite a while. Then in the afternoon game, you got the Braves clinching as well. So we were just talking about, like, every game matters, and then Arizona is sitting at home.
Speaking of Arizona, did you see Ken Kendrick's comments today about Jordan Montgomery?
Oh,
not to get off the playoffs, but I was just like,
why would you say something like that?
And I was like, well, if I'm Jordan Montgomery, I'm
signed on
that option like yesterday.
I sign on that option because it's his option, and I'll make me get rid of me now. Go ahead, I'm gonna make you.
Yeah, he's gonna be hanging out in his modest Charleston home while he just chills for the summer.
Is it 23 million?
25, I think.
25.
Yeah, I may be wrong. I think it's 25.
Virgil is next in the line to be my ex-husband. Oh my God!
This is Influencer. We had a good run.
It is what it is,
So, did you see Joe's comment?
Watching the Titans games was the equivalent of eating broccoli. Broccoli was delicious. Okay, but when you crisp it up, good.
No,
Joe, eating broccoli was better.
No, then nothing. Broccoli and mushrooms, the two worst things ever.
You need to shut your mouth.
I love
terrible.
Broccoli.
I'd rather watch Will Levis play football and Caleb Williams play football against each other than eating broccoli or mushrooms.
We can make that happen.
Okay, Len. So you're drinking Cayman Jack margarita. Okay, all right.
What cap?
Thank you, Thank you, Eric. What
Lynn,
cap
you
are you
deserve
wearing?
a cap. Which cap are you wearing?
What cap are you wearing?
Lynn deserves a hat.
Lynn always deserves a hat.
Always deserves a hat. All right, so let's talk a little bit of Major League Baseball playoffs, Eric. Playoffs, okay?
Playoffs.
Gotcha.
We're not talking about Monday Night Football because we'll get to all of that in a little bit. But baseball is going on right now.
It is?
No. So let me ask you guys. Give me two teams that you guys are really looking at. Can't be your team, Eric. Okay, so I'm not going to pick Cleveland. You can't pick Kansas City. Give me two teams that you're looking at. One in the National, one in the American. That you're looking at that could be a sneaky good team that could make a good run in the playoffs.
Well, I was actually just talking about this last night that the Brewers maybe, I mean, because they won the division, that's why they're a 3 seed, but I thought they were a little too high. But even then, because of that, I thought they could be a team, but then they just collapsed today against the Mets. And I honestly thought Houston, which it's still not over, because now that they're done with Skubal against Detroit, they have a very good chance at beyond Skubal. I mean, who does Detroit have? But right now, Detroit's rolling. They only need one of two.
They need
these
one more
last 2
game.
games.
That's it. Yeah,
So
exactly.
probably for me in the AL, I'd say Detroit. In the NL, I mean, the Mets, they had what they needed to do the first game, the doubleheader yesterday, and then obviously had to travel all the way over. And they won that game today, and so they only need one more. So they had to go up to Milwaukee, and so I don't know how far they'll go, but they did enough where they were able to get into the playoffs and then won their first game. So I'd say probably for me, Mets and the Tigers.
What about you?
Yeah, Padres. They're really good.
Yeah. Well, Zach took my answer. I was going to say, the Tigers and the Padres, for the very reason that the last couple years of history have taught us. If you're hot going into the playoffs, chances are that you're primed to make a good run in the playoffs. Maybe not the World Series, but you could. The Tigers have just gotten hot at the right time, and who expected them to get in? And
came out of nowhere.
I know Skubal was pitching today, but I'm not doubting that team for a second. Even if they don't have 1 through 5, the starting pitching that Houston might have, you don't need a starting 5 in a best of 3 series. You just need 2 to show up.
True.
And so,
I mean, you just got to win the series. It's a best of 3, right? Like, I mean, you just got to win those series and let the rest take care of itself afterwards.
And another team I think you have to watch out for is the Royals. With Game Pasquantino back, I think that could be a difference maker. I mean, I don't know about World Series, but that could get them to the next round. You never know.
May I ask a question?
Go for it.
So this entire season, you've been extremely nice, and you're congratulatory when we won a series. Never said anything, and then all of a sudden today it's like, you guys suck. Get more runs. I'm a
playoff. This is the playoff started as a new season. All friendships are put aside for now because it's the playoffs. Damn it!
I know we're not playing each other. But
I know we're not.
The entire
we won't.
season,
no,
even when we're playing each other, you're really nice and not really giving me a hard time. And then all of a sudden today he's like,
I gave him
better.
Shit. I'll be honestly, I did give him shit earlier today. But okay, so here's the thing. And I'm with everybody on this one. I think the Padres are a good team that we need to watch out for because they are really hot right now. I mean, Fernando Tatis just hit a 2-run bomb, and that thing was a no doubt about it, right? The Tigers, they came out of nowhere. They got hot at the right time. What worries me about them is like what Eric said, is their pitching, right? You got your A's. He took care of business on game 1. Now they gotta win 1 out of 2. So we'll see, right? I'll be honest, like I kind of want to see Houston get eliminated. Like I think we all agree there.
Yeah, I do.
Right. Kansas City did their thing though, right? The one thing that worries me about Kansas City is in the last couple of games is they have not been able to produce a lot of runs. They've been able to win some of those games, but like what scares me is that, because I do believe that they're going to move on, right? I think they'll win their wild card series. But what worries me is the fact that like you're going against, then after that point, you're going against the Yankees, and the Yankees are a total like juggernaut that score a lot of runs. So you got to be able to keep up with that. And that's the only thing that worries me. That's it. But like, I mean, that's a great team.
Yeah, well, the hits can come in waves. So if we get something started tomorrow, or if it goes to game 3, but yeah, I agree. There's been times where we've really struggled against some of the best hitters.
That's right, Mike.
Best pitchers over, to Skubal, and then Fried the other day in Atlanta. Burns pitched pretty well, but we did just enough. And this was, people were talking about how it's kind of vintage 2015 Royals. Michael Garcia got on. I think he walked, stole second, They hit a ground ball to the right side, so we got to third, and then Bobby drove him in. So it's just kind of the small ball, and that's what they did 9 years ago, last time they were in. So, oh, look who it is,
Look who
Mr.
decided
Tigers.
to show up.
Hey, we won a game. Let
Yeah,
me
let's
jump in
show up.
here.
We made the playoffs. Let's show up to the Dad Hat Chronicle Sports Show.
I don't know if you heard the little bit before that, but we were talking about your Tigers and how they
are.
sneaky
We've all
good
the
team.
three of us have picked as their sneaky good team to watch out for. And I was doing a live stream on Sunday, and I'm sticking with those two teams that I picked then, right? The Padres and the Tigers as a sneaky team to really watch out for, to really make some noise in the playoffs. Like, I mean, they could potentially, like, if they stay hot, right? They go against a team that in Cleveland, let's say that they win the series against Houston, right? They go against Cleveland. That's a best out of 5, and I could see them going all 5 in that series.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So,
but I also think that the Guardians are just a good team all around. I really believe in that team, and it has nothing to do with your fandom of them.
Yeah,
I
know. Yeah,
I really like the makeup of the team, and you're just good enough in a lot of different areas to.
I just love that the media hasn't really given them a chance.
And that's what I love is that you're going, like, you guys are playing. I feel like all your teams are playing with house money at the moment.
Even Mrs. Influence is surprised by the
singer right there, dude.
Sellers' disappearance.
That was a good one.
That's a good one.
I've been saying that all along. No one believed me.
If the Mets have a good run, does Juan Soto get a fat contract in Queens? Man, that's a good one.
Yeah. Well, I've been saying that for months, though. Everyone, I said, watch out, because if he has to get in the Bronx, he may go across to Flushing.
Are you thinking that the Yankees are not going to spend money?
Have you met Hal Steinbrenner?
Yeah, true.
I mean, he did it for Aaron Judge, but he didn't do it. Oh yeah, cheering for Cleveland, Ohio pride, baby. So
that's right, baby.
Michael goes, it's always tennis season.
No, it isn't. Garbage. Get that comment out of this thing. This is gross. Yeah. So I mean, listen again. Juan Soto and Grimace gets contracts. To be honest with you, and then I wish we had Donnie here to get his thoughts on this. But what are you guys thinking about the pitching staff for the Yankees right now? Like, I mean, they can outslug anybody, but what I'm concerned about that team is their pitching, specifically their bullpen.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the starters. I'm worried about the bullpen.
I'd rather listen to Rhonda's comments about the Yankees rather than the mayor.
Because the mayor is like all about, oh, they'll be fine. They'll be no. Hey, listen, he's been right so far. They did win the division. He was right.
Well, I heard he was rooting for the Panthers or the Jaguars to win the World Series.
That's good.
Does Mike even know he has a new fan on bandwagon?
Yeah, no.
I don't even know if he knows.
Mike, Mr. Sellers, our good co-host, good and friend, he is rooting for the Jacksonville Jaguars as his team because the Carolina Panthers have not really done anything.
Yeah, they also adopted another nickname called the Florida Fighting Donnies.
Oh, I always knew Mrs. Mayer was the best.
Yeah, there it is. I'm a Kansas City fan, no Yankee fan here. Good job, Rhonda. See, this is why we love you more than Donnie. Don't tell him that, okay?
Yes. We love you, Rhonda.
That's right. See, that's kind of where I was getting with kind of talking about that with Joe's comment. You're like, hey, Donnie was right. They won the division. Okay, but then now we're in the playoffs.
Regular season champions. Yep. Just like the Cowboys. Regular season champions.
Although
can't
not
do
this
anything
year.
in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, and it's something that we've all talked about, right? Is that would you rather be playing in the wild card round, or would you rather wait the week to come in? I mean, I've seen there's been plenty of examples of teams underperforming. It doesn't mean you will, because if you're good enough, you're going to be fine.
True.
But for some teams, the layoff, has affected them, and we've seen runs by the Braves, we've seen runs by the Phillies, and they've maybe not always resulting in a World Series championship, but trips to the World Series.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, right now, I'm glad that Cleveland is getting a bye because we have a lot of players that are a little dinged up and hurt that it is good for them to heal up and then just get ready for the season.
You limped into the playoffs.
We did, most certainly did.
Yeah, and
our starting pitcher needed some rest, and that's one thing that kind of makes me nervous. Our bullpen is best bullpen in the majors right now, but it's like our starting pitching is what worries me right now. They're not able to make it a full 5-6 innings and then having to go into the bullpen too early.
Columbus season's over. Call Tristan McKenzie up.
Man, listen, there's a reason why he's still in AAA and Karen check. You know what I mean? So
bring him up. You need pitching,
that dude. No, I'm not listening to anything when it comes to Cleveland, anything, because you're just a Cleveland hater right now. So I'm very intrigued. So let me ask you this then. Continue on just a little bit here on baseball. What were your thoughts overall on the major league season as a whole, like all 162 games? What were your ups, your downs, surprises, all of that?
I guess for me, now that this regular season is over, neither World Series team, Arizona and Texas, are both out. They didn't make the playoffs. So now, obviously, we were talking about briefly, Arizona was right there, but they didn't control their own destiny. And so basically after the Mets won that first game, which Braves would have done the same thing if they would have won the first game, they played their, JV team in the second game. And so, I do agree with that, Joe. Went by way too fast.
It did. I had fun though watching it while it lasted. So, what about you, Patrick?
Well, even though my team was horrible, I can honestly say I really like from a personal perspective, I'm really happy for you and Eric and Donnie, my wonderful co-hosts on the show, that you guys have gotten to enjoy success with your teams. You didn't make the playoffs last year, and the Blue Jays might as well not have. But yeah, I think Eric makes a good point about the AL Central, improving. But the fact that you get to see your teams play into October, I think is fun. So maybe one day in 15 years, Zach will get to see the Angels in the playoffs. But for now, he's right. He's like he said earlier, at least the Angels and Jays didn't lose today. So,
well, that's what, if you look about a year ago, Ed, Mike and I were talking about how terrible the AL Central was, almost basically top to bottom. And then now 3 of the teams made it into the playoffs just a year later.
And it could have been,
and the division winner from last year, the Twins, they didn't even make it in. They collapsed right at the end.
I get right. Either you get hot or you just collapse and then boom, that was it, and I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now, but I have been very pleasantly surprised at the Guardians, right? I never said anything about the coaching pick. I was like, let me see what's going on. I never said yay or nay on it. And I stayed the path. It was hard at times, but you know what? I'm glad I didn't. He did an absolute wonderful job. Stephen Vogt killed it as a coach, taking over as a manager, taking over for, a sure, first ballot Hall of Fame, player and coach and Tito. Right. So I'm happy for that, but I'm very surprised that they actually won the division. I had them in 3rd place. I had Cleveland in 3rd place.
Yeah. Well, he definitely got my vote.
So those were good surprises. Really bad, disappointing seasons for both Oakland and Chicago. Talk about an absolute epic collapse.
Yeah.
With the White Sox.
Yeah.
Well, it was cool to see at least Oakland had a packed stadium there the last game.
With ticket prices raised, by the way.
Yeah, so that was at least cool to see them. But I didn't get to watch the game, but I heard that it was pretty during the 7th inning stretch. It was pretty sad all around with all the people, and then some of the people were staying around after the game for up to an hour, just trying to get in as much as they could.
I say Steve Vogt, Zach, just because he's a rookie manager and then he was able to take that team and win the division. Granted, don't take anything against AJ Hinch. He's done an absolute wonderful job with the Tigers. It has taken him a couple of years to get that team to where it is. I think they're ahead of schedule, that team. But they're doing an
Yeah.
absolute wonderful job. And then Major League Bruce, thanks for the shout out. I'm rocking the black Las Vegas Gamblers hat and drinking a local Oktoberfest. So there you go, baby.
Good for you, my man.
So there you go. Absolutely, Major League Brews.
What's is Baez? Is he playing?
I have no idea.
Also, I don't know if I missed it or not. I don't think Jackson Holiday played today against the Royals.
Let's see.
I don't know if he's hurt or if they just didn't trust him. He's too young and
I'm checking.
Javi Baez wasn't on the lineup.
I don't know if Mike's still on here, but I'd be curious. I know he's been terrible since he's been in Detroit, but I didn't know if he's hurt or if they're just not playing him. And then, like I said, I don't know if Jackson Holiday.
Holiday didn't play.
Nope.
And he's not hurt though, is he?
Not that I know.
No, not that. Yeah.
So is it just too young and inexperienced? Like
I would guess so.
But I mean, they had Kierstead and Kauser.
Yep.
Now I know Rutschman's been there for a little bit, but
Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, I mean, those guys have at least, because they were in it last year.
Yeah,
right.
That's kind of surprising that they didn't play.
I'm telling you, Cole Reagans is a baller, though, man.
Snicker is NL manager yet to make the playoffs with the Braves have been what the Braves have been through. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
you can't give it to the Dodgers. There's no way.
Phil, tell that to my sister and my dad. They can't stand Snit.
Yeah, he's done an absolute wonderful job, though.
And I keep telling them that, but they vehemently disagree with me.
Or should they give it to what's his name in the Mets? For the Mets manager, Jesus, what is his name now?
Flores, is it?
I can't think of his name now.
I'm looking it up.
But anyways,
Carlos
Mendoza, there it is.
Carlos Mendoza.
So, I'd say I give my pick to him.
Yeah. Well, especially when you think about who was the reliever that threw his glove into the crowd, and I feel like that was almost a turning point for the team.
He and then the very next day he's been released.
Yeah.
Pat Murphy is the NL manager of the year. Fight me.
I'm with Zach on that one. Pat Murphy to me is the NL manager of the year.
You guys
I think what he's done with Milwaukee is just unreal.
You're right. But here's the thing, though. Milwaukee was a playoff team. You know what I mean? They've been a really good team.
But they lost Corbin Burns. And then so they lost their number one starter, and then Brandon Woodruff, who would have been probably their number one starter on paper.
So did Cleveland. Cleveland lost the whole pitching staff.
Yeah, and we're talking about NL though. We're not talking about AL.
True.
Yeah, so it's not Pat Murphy against Stephen Vogt. It's
that'd be kind of cool though to see that.
It can be. Don't worry, Ed. It can be both.
Interleague rival for coach of the year.
Right. Yeah.
Why would anybody want to fight Zach? Military guy.
I definitely don't want to fight you, dude.
He said fight me. I'm like,
you said Pat Murphy. I agree.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
Whatever you say, bro.
If you say the Angels are the best in the ML, they are.
You're right.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I tried to fight Zach, I'd lose.
All of a sudden, I'm like, in a duffel bag in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, what happened? I said Pat Murphy was not the NL manager of the year. I miss you, buddy, Zach. Stay safe, my friend.
Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe, Zach. We miss you. We missed you, bro.
And they lose their number one starter, their manager, and picked up. I'm messing with you. I agree. I think it's a good pick.
Zach, was I not just saying that?
He did say that. Calm down, Tiger. Calm down.
Listen, I'm a crouching tiger, hidden dragon, man.
Oh, Jesus, mother of God. There it is. Oh, anyways, moving on.
You love it.
Baez has been hurt. That's why the Tigers have been winning. All right, Major League Brews. I like it. Well, listen, fellow countryman, okay, Baez. Now, my issue with Baez is he thinks that he can hit a home run every time he goes to the bat. I'm like, dude, you play to your strength, okay? Hit singles, hit doubles, hit for contact, move the players over, but you want to be the slugger. You're not the slugger of the team.
He's still a Cub at heart.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he'll go back to the Cubs eventually. So, all right. That was some really good talk with our first half of the of our show that we're talking a little bit of baseball here. So
yeah, and shout out to the chat again for just being so interactive. We appreciate that.
Zach, 100%, my friend.
Hey, read that league name to me.
Liga de Béisbol Profesional, Liga Béisbol Puerto Rico, Roberto Clemente.
Thank you. I like when you say that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that almost sounds like how I would say it, except not anywhere close. So.
Liga Profesional Roberto Clemente. Which, by the way, he on a couple days ago he officially hit the 3,000 hit and never played again. Anyways, because there's the more you know.
The more you know.
Guys,
it's almost like you can watch shorts on YouTube about that or something like that. Right?
Crazy. That's crazy.
What?
I don't know who does that. So overall, I think it was a successful year for like regular season so far, right? I mean, we can't say about the playoffs because the playoffs had just really started. But overall, I think it was a really good season for baseball.
Yeah, I just like to see teams that haven't been in the playoffs in a while getting another shot to go in. I think that's good for the game.
Hey, how'd you know that, Brett?
I'll
put that on. Yeah, it's like there was a video about that today.
I mean, it's crazy. It's almost like there's a YouTube channel called the Dad Hat Chronicles that puts stuff like that out there.
That's
you want
crazy.
You want to know what's equally crazy? Apparently there's like an average podcast out there somewhere with above average hosts.
Who?
I don't know. Something called Earn Fun Average Podcast. I don't know.
Speaking of, somebody decided to bring back their podcast and bring back a certain somebody.
Yeah, I see. How you click on Twitter and something pops up for 2 seconds and then just disappears. Yep. I'm like, wait a minute, did I just see something up to chat? So I had to go search it specifically, and I'm like, 1 hour post 1 hour ago. I'm like, whoa. Where'd this come from?
I'm like, hold on a second. Did we just did not see this coming and someone didn't even say anything to us about this?
Yeah, that's because I didn't see it coming. I got asked yesterday. It's like, so what are you doing tonight? And it's like, well,
hanging out at home, cleaning my hats.
Yeah, well, I was doing laundry. It's like, so what are you doing tonight? And it's like, so I'm trying to get a preview out before the playoffs actually start, which is like tomorrow. And I'm like, sure, why not?
Good planning, Mike. Good planning.
I was busy at work, so I haven't listened yet, but I hope to get to it.
You're going to hate it.
It's in my queue to listen to.
If you're on it, of course I am.
Well, you're going to hate it and you're going to hate my picks. So,
Yeah, he picked the Orioles. New? He picked the Orioles.
Of course,
I definitely did not pick the Kansas City Royals.
I did, but that was before I heard Pasquantino was back. In fact, that was one of my reasons. Was because of the offense struggling.
So when I come to Profit Palooza next year, we're coming when you're in your conference. So,
well, you already planned that before the prediction. So it's not like that has any bearing on what.
He makes a bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, we're gonna do our trip and go around with Donnie, but we're not gonna see Patrick when we go.
Let me know. I'll try to make it down
there. Ed and I will take a trip, and you won't be invited. So
yeah. What about the something Palooza? How'd that work for you?
It was something.
It was something. I listened to Up the Chat. Happy to see it pop up today. There you go. I was very happy to see that. I'll be honest with you. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't get to listen to it today because I had it on the queue. But tomorrow,
he's fine with it.
See, Joe sounds good.
He's like, that's fine. We don't need to see Patrick.
All right, don't be about it. It's cool.
Well, he saw my picks today, so he didn't want to see me anyway. I don't blame him.
Joe doesn't want to talk to you right now, especially after your picks.
No. It's a spoiler, my picks are not as bad as Mr. Sellers' City Connect logo rankings, but they're still bad.
Oh, that thing is garbage.
He's gonna have to come out with a new episode because they're gonna a lot of teams or all the teams are eventually gonna do all the new.
I would love to be a guest on that, and then
except San Diego, they're keeping theirs.
Good. Yeah. San Diego should keep up. Curve Media Meetup 2025 in Chicagoland with side trips to Field of Dreams.
Frank Thomas Land?
Let me know when you go, and maybe I can schedule my vacation then. Boom. There it is. Another one that wants to join us.
Ooh.
So there you
go, Michael.
All right, boys.
Patrick won't be there, Michael.
Yeah, Patrick won't be there. All right. So let's talk, let's do a little shift here, guys. Let's talk about our picks on for the NFL Sunday because those were interesting.
Before we get into it, I know we don't really do a whole lot of college football, but did you see the Alabama-Georgia
Dude,
game?
that game.
That ending? Was it
Jesus.
Ryan Williams? Only 17, that catch he had. He had two of them. One where he kind of bobbled it, but then
Yeah.
that one up the sideline where he kind of did some like pirouette, caught it, stopped, and then juked both guys, ran into each other, and just sped
Dude,
right by him. That
yeah.
was insane.
That was
Yeah.
a wild game.
Wait, are you talking about Serena and Venus Williams' cousin?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
They had it on in the suite up at Las Vegas ballpark, and every time like Alabama would score, you would just hear somebody scream, like shouting so loud and cheering during that game, even at the baseball game.
Dude, I mean, because it was just wild. Like, I mean, we just kept going back and forth. And I'm like, man, this is a good game. I even
hope you can turn
texted
them again off at halftime.
Mike, and I was like, Mike, dude, like, I mean, yes, I know your team lost, dude, but that was a good game.
It was.
And he goes like, no, that was a really good game.
Credit to Georgia for coming back, because, like, you know, a lot of people probably would have turned. Some people
had already counted him
off
out at the half, right? You're right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was the Jalen Milroe show, and then the second half, it was like little by little the dogs came back, and you know, and then it took some special plays by Ryan Williams and Jalen Milroe, like Eric was talking about, to make the difference.
I like it, man. It was good. It's a lot
Very
of fun.
good. Yeah, good call, Eric.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, sorry, NFL.
No, you're good. Now you're good. You're good. Well, let's talk the scores first, because I know you have a question that you want to talk about, and I'm with you there. I like that question a lot, so I'm with you there on that one. But let's go ahead and talk about NFL, like your weekend thoughts on like what happened throughout the weekend. Give me your good and your bad out of that whole slate of games. I'll start with you, Eric.
I was surprised at how bad Buffalo looked. You know, they were 3-0, and I thought they would perform a lot better, but they had nothing going on. So I was kind of surprised me. I thought one of the Monday night games, not the Tennessee Miami, but the
Seattle game,
Seattle Detroit, was a pretty good shootout. Seattle, was one of those undefeated teams, and I know we'll talk about that, but they kept, they were down and then just kept kind of clawing back a little bit here and there. And I don't know what that finished at, 60, 70 points was the total between the two. So I don't know if any of us took the over on that one, but that would have flown over easily. Jesus. I mean, I don't even know, even if they would have had that at 49.5 or whatever, that would just flew right by it.
None of us had that game.
Yeah.
I had the Broncos and Jets, and I picked the over.
Well, the over 4 points.
Jesus, how bad that game was.
10-9. Yeah, that's another, you talk about kind of a disappointment, is that the Jets, where was Breece Hall?
They didn't do anything, dude.
I didn't watch it, but I guess it was raining, but
okay.
Even then, it's just like they could not do anything.
Right. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't throw the ball. They couldn't do anything.
Breece Hall went into witness protection.
And I don't care what anybody says. Aaron Rodgers played like shit.
Yeah.
He had a bad game.
So, and it made my heart happy.
Of course it did.
Because
your heart grew 2 sizes that day?
It only grew a size because my team lost in an embarrassing way.
So, yeah.
Val was cheering against your team.
So are we on Jameis watch yet, or what?
So okay. So time out there. Let's stop there, because I'm really. So here's the thing, and I went back to saw highlights and I saw some of the things. For the first time, I can actually say it really wasn't Deshaun Watson's fault. It was actually Cooper played like shit. Okay, Jerry Jeudy did not show up at all. You know what I mean?
Is that why he's out of Denver?
True.
Or did he just want to get more money?
Well, he got traded.
Yeah, I just thought he wanted to play with Jameis.
Okay, sure.
So I know he had some good moments in Denver, but
yeah,
you wouldn't think he would have been bad enough that they would have traded him to Cleveland.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I thought he was going to be better than what he's been doing. He says, like, I got to run more sprints so I don't get tired. I guess he was tired. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
He still had 6 receptions, though.
Yeah, but Amari Cooper, I mean, you have one in your chest. and you literally dropped it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, just and then it was intercepted. So
Yeah.
I mean, he absolutely like. I don't know what he was doing, but he wasn't doing anything. Granted, Cleveland's team has been decimated by injuries, right? So
Mhm.
there's a lot of players that have been injured. That offensive line has been decimated with injuries. I get it. I mean, but the Raiders have an absolute garbage of a team, and they should have won that game. Even though none of us picked them to win. By the way,
Dr. Brooks said to check your heart if it's
I'm
growing.
going to. It's growing. It's because it's love, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, we all picked
We
Cleveland,
picked
right?
Raiders. Yeah, we picked the Raiders.
Our friend Val was there at that game. She basically streamed the whole game for you. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't say that out loud.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but it's like everybody was like there for like the whole game. Is like it was all Browns. You know what I mean? Well, look who shows up.
Oh, look.
Who is that guy?
Wait, is that a Jaguars fan there in the distance?
Yeah, we're talking about your team.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have listened first to see where y'all were at. And
We're
then
talking
decided to
NFL.
jump in. It's okay.
Surprises. You're surprised and you're disappointing of your part of the Sunday slate.
Turn your radio down. You know how they always used to tell them if
I know,
they were
right?
trying to call in, like,
You
you
got
turn your
feedback.
radio
You
down.
gotta go. Was it turn your radio down? Well, we're gonna have to call you back. Call us back. Call us back.
Oh man. Gosh, give me a second to think about that one.
Also, can I give you guys one?
Yep.
You know who was actually I was pleasantly surprised, even though they lost? The Panthers.
Yeah.
They actually looked pretty good. You know, I mean, granted, they're working through some things, but they didn't look that bad. And then, you know, granted, they only lost what? I'm looking at where's the score?
34-24.
Yeah, so they didn't really play that bad.
Yeah.
Was that the Bengals?
Yep.
Yeah,
They
against the Bengals.
They got rid of their biggest fan and then they started playing good.
Yep.
So,
They're trying to win me back.
well, they won me as the NFC team. I mean, they're winning me on that one. So, you guys know I'm still rooting for my Tampa Bay Mayfields. But
Yeah. You're fighting.
which,
Baker
by the way,
Mayfield.
There's
they had a dominant game against.
what was that? Because how do you lose to, was it Denver as bad as
Yeah.
they did?
And they
then
put
come
a
out and
whooping on Philly.
Yeah.
It's like a Jekyll and it's just like the team they played. It's Jekyll and Hyde every week, right? I mean, it's
True,
like
very
you
true.
don't know what you're going to get.
that would be one of my surprising ones right there. Was that Philly looked so bad.
Yeah. Well,
But Philly hasn't really looked that good all season.
No, but compared to last week with Tampa, I didn't expect Tampa to do that.
yeah. The one that surprised me more for not so much that they won, but like the amount by which they won were the Commanders.
But Donnie, you picked the Bucks to win. He gone.
Like,
You're
What?
you're
I'm gone?
choppy there, my friend.
sorry, I'm on the interstate, so yeah, I'm gonna have some spotty service here. Yeah, I guess I did pick them to win because I thought they would win, but I just didn't think it would be that bad of a game.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Is Donnie's phone on the floorboard in the passenger side?
It is. It's on the cup holder.
The cup holder. Yeah, I need to get something for my van.
Yeah, you got to get a phone mount like I got in my car. Then that's right.
Listen, Phil, calm down, okay? We can't be bringing, nightmares back, okay? I was never going to able to get my Juicy Lucy, so
They're good.
yeah, thanks.
but-
Thanks, Patrick.
Yo, you're
Patrick, you
welcome.
were talking about the Commanders, right? You were saying about the
Yeah.
Commanders. That was your surprise
was.
team.
I was. Well, not so much by virtue of the fact that they won, but
In the manner in which they did.
the manner in which they did. I mean, like, dude, and I called this at the beginning of the season. Jaden Daniels is a baller, man.
Yeah, he's got to be the best of the rookie quarterbacks this season
Oh.
easily.
Oh, easily.
100%.
I mean, dare I say he's even better than Bryce Young. But yeah, anyways,
The starter in
I said
Carolina.
Jaden Daniels was going to be the best quarterback in this draft from the beginning as well because I knew Caleb Williams was overrated.
We all did.
yeah,
We all
Well,
did.
I may be a little biased. But
another
Jaden Daniels is my guy.
game. Speaking of him, another game that the Bears basically squeaked out without much help from Williams. That's twice they've won this year where he didn't do anything.
No, that was the DeAndre Swift show.
Yeah, because the Rams couldn't stop anything. Couldn't stop the run. Neither
They couldn't stop a cold.
Yeah.
I know we'll talk about it on Thursday, but Green Bay goes to L.A. Cooper Kupp's out, but Christian Watson may also be out.
Ooh.
So clears
Bo Nix.
what?
What? Not that he really didn't. Well, I mean, so let me ask
You didn't have
you.
to do
So
much.
What? So I didn't watch a lot of games on Sunday since we were driving back. But what happened
Donnie.
what happened with the Jets? Because I had Aaron Rodgers in fantasy.
Aaron
He
Rodgers played
stunk.
like shit.
Okay. Because that's not
Brees-
something I was expecting either.
Brees Hall did absolutely nothing. They didn't get the
Yep.
ball to Brees Hall, and he did nothing.
Yeah.
And this is one of those games where like the stats really don't tell you the full story, because Aaron Rodgers was 24 to 42 with 225, not a single touchdown thrown. So like, yeah, you know what I mean? Yes, granted it was raining. All right, you know, it's the NFL. You play in the cold weather and you play in the rain. That's what you do. You know what I
He
mean?
came from
You
Green
practice
Bay.
with-
He played in
That's
some
what I'm
shitty
saying.
weather.
So, Joe, you're saying Bo Nix cleared 50 yards passing, and he finished with 60? He was at -7 for the longest time, like
Yeah.
deep into the game, maybe halftime or something. He was at -7 passing yards.
Yeah.
That-
He had
it was not
he
good
had
for
60
him.
passing yards and a 48% completion rate in a win. That's
The
how
Braves
bad
are not
that game
winning.
was.
Sorry, Phil, they are not.
No, they're losing 3-0 right now in the top of the fifth. So,
Yeah. But you know who did win? The Indianapolis Colts.
I was just gonna say the Indy Colts.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I
Come
was
on
gonna
down.
say, yeah, he's after his performance late in the season for Cleveland last year, and then this game, Pittman finally showed up. Of course,
Mhm.
that he finally had somebody throw. So how long is Richardson going to be out now?
He's day to day.
Day to day.
Aren't we all?
I mean, that's true.
True story.
That's true. The first true thing you've ever said.
Yeah, that is as true as it come, man. God Almighty.
That is old school ESPN quotes back there from the catchphrase days. I think that might have been a Kenny Mayne one.
The Jaguars, I'm gonna say it right now, they're about to fire their head coach.
What a train wreck that's become.
But I thought it was their coordinator, not the coach.
No, man. They're about to fire that coach.
What's going on with the Florida Fighting Donnies?
Their quarterback.
Yep.
Hey, Thursday night I could have a new hat.
That's true. Yeah, you may have a new head on Thursday when we pick our
No.
games.
No,
Which, by the way, I did tell.
I'll wear the hat of the team I'm going to start pulling for again.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see how that goes.
They're just going to go jump back and forth.
So
He's-
I
Pretty
do
sure we're
have
gonna
to
have
buy
the
a
Lambo
Colts hat.
Donnie.
I do have to buy a Colts hat now because I did say that if the Colts beat the Steelers, I have to buy a hat. So
Hey, we have to get a Sugarland Space Cowboys hat.
we do.
Yeah, remember we said we would pick whoever won the AAA National Championship?
That
Although
is
you
true.
didn't show. So if
Yeah,
you
I
still
didn't-
want to get a dad hat, you can, but I need
We'll
to go
see.
pick one out.
The Sugarland Space Cowboys. We'll look
Yeah, you
at
should.
those.
I was going to say pull up the
I will.
Triple A champ.
I don't know if there's any more. We're going to talk about kind of what just the scores and surprises, but I did have a question that I asked the other day that I wanted to cover. So
Go ahead.
there were 4 or 5 undefeated teams going into week 4. You got the
Mhm.
Chiefs, the
The Steelers.
Bills, the Steelers, the I don't know who's the other. There's one other
The
undefeated.
Bills, the Steelers, the Seahawks,
The Seahawks, and there's one other because there's 2 undefeated teams. Oh, the Vikings.
the Vikings.
So, and that's what I figured. I said at this point, I feel like there's a couple undefeated teams that probably were pretenders and not really. And I agree, Brett. They weren't really contenders. And then so I thought the Bills besides, the Chiefs, I thought they for sure would be more of a contender-ish. I mean, not necessarily going to go deep in the playoffs, but look more like they could be an undefeated type team. But they absolutely got blown out. Obviously, Kansas City is going to continue to win. even with all the injuries. Now they got Rashee Rice, who got friendly fired by Mahomes diving at his knee. They don't think he didn't tear his ACL, so they don't think he'll be out all season.
He'll be out for a long time, though.
Pacheco's out. So yeah, they got some injuries, but
Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, Brown's out for the season. But yeah, so the Steelers, I
never believed in the Steelers.
Yeah,
I never believed in the Steelers to be an undefeated team.
The Seahawks kind of the same way. I feel like they're usually pretty decent. They could do some stuff with Geno, but obviously they lost. But that was to a very good Detroit team. Now Minnesota obviously proved to with Darnold how good they really are. Now they did almost collapse
against your team.
Mahomes
cost me a parlay
because he had Rashee Rice. But yeah, they almost let the Packers back in it if the Packers wouldn't if they would have a kicker. We always are terrible with our kickers. Got Braden Narvison, who missed 2 field goals. We lost by 2 points. This is the first game Love came back after being out since week 1. Struggled through 3 interceptions, but then in the second half really looked good, and he finished just short of 400 yards passing and had 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and then they had, I think, 2 fumbles. So 5 turnovers really killed them, and the 2 missed field goals. But even then, they only lost by 2. But I think Minnesota is going to be obviously really good. So I think the Chiefs, are 2 of them that are undefeated, that are more of the contenders than the other guys that were probably the pretenders.
Well, you're starting to see what we've said before too, is like his first 2 or 3 weeks are the real the real preseason, and teams are starting to kind of gel now and find out who they are.
True.
And so you're going to see the offenses catching up to the defenses. It happens every year, and everybody forgets about it and loses their mind the first 3 weeks of the season about their team doing horrible. And then once they got some action, and like you said with Love, I mean, he had to dust the rust off after getting hurt and missing games. But then once he kind of get out there and get in the flow, got it together. So
yeah, he was hitting Jaden Reed like crazy in that second half. And I think people were, after he struggled in the first half, people were like, bring back in Malik Willis. And it's like, guys, he hasn't played since week 1.
Yeah, you gotta give
even
him,
then, he still was kind of on a bum knee. So I don't know. I haven't heard the latest this week. I'm assuming they'll probably take it easy during the week. So hopefully he can stay healthy. But I said
would you have benched him? Would you have kept him in the bench and started Malik Willis one more game?
Yeah, because I think I did end up picking Green Bay, but I said last Thursday, I said, even if we lose this game to Minnesota, which we very well could have, because Malik got us 2 wins, I would have felt better about being at 2-2 rather than like a 1-3 or maybe an 0-4.
Yeah.
So I was fine if they would have benched him. Now, I don't know that he would have had that comeback type game that Love did.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that does. Like I said, we're going to LA. Going to LA on Sunday, so we'll see how, because LA's really been struggling, so we'll see how that is.
Not my little brother being a Sam Darnold truther. Wow. Shots fired.
Love that, Joe. Love that, Joe.
Well, listen, so here are my thoughts, okay? Pittsburgh, I didn't think they were going. They were that 3-0. It just didn't sound right with Pittsburgh. You know what I mean?
Well, they're an 8-8 team.
Thank you, Ed.
Anyway,
you're welcome.
Appreciate you.
I'm agreeing with you on this one. I like Minnesota, man. I like Minnesota. They look good, dude.
And I'm not going to say we lost just because, but Jair Alexander was out, and then 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, or maybe last year, he really shut down Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson did have a touchdown in this game, and he's going to do what he needs to do. But so I'm not saying that if Alexander would have played, we would have won that game, but he was out. So it could have made a little bit of a difference. But when your offense has 5 turnovers, that's going to kill you. And then when you miss 2 field goals and lose by 2,
that's going to kill you.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I know you're probably going to kill me this, but I don't believe in Kansas City being that strong of a contender right now, because it could potentially be a 500 team right now.
Say that louder.
Kansas City they should be a 500 team. They got bailed out.
Okay,
by,
now watch for the comment. It's going to
I know,
say,
it's coming.
my third
It's coming.
divorce.
It's coming. I know it is. I'm sorry, Shannon, but it's the truth, though, right? Let's be honest. Like, there was some real questionable calls at the end of the game to really save the game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, granted, we're looking at a small window, right? We're not looking at the whole game. I need to see more from Kansas City in order for me to say, I was like, yeah, they're a legit contender.
I feel like they always play a pretty good game with a tightly contested game against the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
It always seems to be division game and everything. I always feel like, especially when they're out in LA, I always feel like it's a pretty close game with them. And so that game, there wasn't a whole lot of scoring, and then obviously the Chiefs were able to figure it out just enough at the end.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then as far as like, I'm sad for Miami. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sad for them, right? I mean, it's just, you got Tua that got a concussion. And to me, this proves that they did right by signing Tua to that contract, because he's a really good quarterback. There's a lot of hate, but these last couple of games has shown that he really is their captain of that team, because he's been able to keep that team, in a winning performance, and hasn't really done anything, even with Tyler Huntley. I can't blame everything on calls, but I do think that we are a worst undefeated team ever. I also believe Kansas City turns it on when they need to. I'm with you, Shannon. I'm just saying.
I mean, I wouldn't say they're the worst undefeated team ever, because I could see, obviously it was only 3 games, but
Pittsburgh was the worst undefeated team.
But yeah, they know what. Yeah, Mahomes knows what he's doing, and he's going to figure out how to get the game-winning drive or set up a game-winning field goal.
Correct.
He knows what he's doing. So,
I mean, the fact that he is able to move around and then just avoid tackles to get the ball to his players, he is a magician when it comes to that. But it's just like, oh my God.
So how come she basically semi-agrees with you and didn't divorce you, but when Patrick and I say something, she's like,
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I got your Shannon.
You just answered your own question, Eric.
You didn't even come to Vegas to meet her. You could have met her.
You and me. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
You could have met her in Vegas.
Listen, I wanted to. Trust me, my friend.
Just make sure you drive fast.
Oh my God, I'm dying. Oh, that is so good.
Ed's right. I mean, Patrick Mahomes finds a way to schoolyard his way to a win sometimes.
That's a good way of putting it. That is a great way of putting it. He schoolyards his way into, 10, 15s, and he avoids hits. This is my problem with from Baltimore, and of course, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, this is the difference between Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson can run the ball, and he is really good at avoiding the players in the pocket, but then he always finds a way to get hit. Dude, stop getting hit.
Right, exactly. Back to your Miami comment, I was going to say, I mean, do you think Mike McDaniels is supposed to be like the genius? How is he not able to find a quarterback outside of Tua to run this team the way that he needs to?
Maybe Tyler Huntley will be able to do it, but he's only been he was only there for like a week, maybe.
Yeah, he hasn't had time to really learn anything.
Right, exactly. So I'll give him a pass on this week just because he really didn't, know the system. So we'll see next week when he does play, and we'll see how that goes. But man, yeah, it has not looked good for McDaniels at all.
Well, Huntley's got an arm if he can overthrow Tyreek Hill. So they got to get on the same page.
100% agree with you, my friend.
Yep.
So we got a game to pick, though, boys and girls. We got a game to pick. Thursday night game.
Okay. By the way, we drove past the entire Thursday night football production haulers on our way
Did you?
home on Sunday. Yeah, between Augusta and Columbia, there was seven 18-wheelers.
Jesus.
And they've got Amazon Thursday night football. They've got the schedule on like 3 or 4 of the trailers, but every one of those trailers is like wrapped out in Thursday night football stuff.
You mean it's not Bailey's?
There's what?
Bally's.
Bally's.
Vegas.
Yeah, it's a long joke. Okay, so we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the Atlanta Falcons. The Bucs are 3-1. Falcons are 2-2. Atlanta is favored on this one, 1.5. Okay, so they're not even getting the full 3 points, meaning pick 'em game, baby. So, and then the over on this one is 43.5.
So they must be playing in Atlanta since the Trump.
They are playing in
right?
at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Yep, they are.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Patrick, I'm going to start with you.
I think that it will be probably a closer game, certainly closer than what the Bucs and Eagles game was. But I like the Bucs in this one. I like the way Baker's playing, and I think Godwin and Evans are going to have even though it's a short week, I still think they're going to be fit to play. So yeah, give me the Bucs.
Okay, Donnie.
God, I want to do the same thing, but I don't know. It's cool. I mean, Atlanta at home, Thursday night, division game. All the games, as crappy as the South is normally, division games are tough to win on the road.
They always are.
I don't know which Tampa you're going to get. Give me Atlanta at home this time.
Okay. Eric.
What was the over-under?
43.5.
Joe doesn't think they're going to score?
Yeah, I think this is going to go over. I'm going to take the over on this one.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think I picked the Falcons last week because they always seem to have the Saints number for whatever reason. And I wouldn't have any hesitation at all. I just don't understand that game that the Bucs had against the Broncos.
You and me picked Atlanta.
Okay, but they obviously turned around and looked a lot better this past week. They very well, if they wouldn't have had that game against the Broncos, they very well could be undefeated. Obviously, Atlanta being at home is going to give them a little bit of advantage, but I'm going to have to say I'm going to go Bucs.
Okay. I had someone ask me, it's like, Ed, as a Browns fan, does it make you mad that Baker Mayfield is doing better now that he's out of Cleveland? And I'm like, no.
Was that Patrick? Did he ask that?
No, Patrick didn't ask that. Probably. But why would I be mad? He needed to get out of Cleveland. He needed to get out of Cleveland. He needed a fresh start. Sam Darnold needed to get out of, Carolina. He needed to get out of New York. There's nothing wrong with you leaving a team and then doing better. Good for him. I mean, he's doing great. Here's the thing. He lost the locker room when he made those comments during the fight between the Browns and Steelers with the helmet throwing and all that. That day he lost the locker room and he never regained it.
Well, Baker will tell you he's matured a lot because of that situation, because of the situation in Cleveland, period.
Yeah. And it was not an easy situation in Cleveland. Let's be honest. Cleveland has been absolutely dog shit for a long time. And now, they really can't handle being good. So that's neither here or there. But I like the Bucs in this game. I like the Bucs. I think the Bucs have been playing really good. Baker Mayfield, he had a really good game. 30 for 47, 347 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, the dude was dealing, so I'll take it. Yeah,
man,
I got the love. I got the Tampa Mayfields. You got listen.
Yeah,
I'm not ashamed to say it.
Man, I really thought he was going to pick the Falcons on that one.
So did I.
No one
for a second, I was going to pick. No,
no one ever.
Yeah. So
who won the picks from last week? Y'all might have said that earlier. But
all right. No, I haven't.
Oh,
so
okay. All right. No, that's
all right. First place. Yours truly. Second place.
What?
Yeah, no, you were last. The second place was Patrick. And then Donnie, you know what killed you?
Being a Jaguars fan.
Being a Panthers fan.
No, actually, Eric what came in last place. Eric picking Miami was that one because the two of you were tied
Okay.
there at the end, and then you both picked the line. We all picked the Lions except for Patrick. And Patrick, that was your killer right there.
Oh, I know.
You and me would have been
I know.
tied, and then that pick got you.
I did it for the content.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. It was a good game, but Eric came in last by one. So,
Yeah.
Donnie, you're not last. However, you are last in fantasy football, my friend.
In one league.
Yeah.
One league.
And
Yeah,
is your
because-
what
yeah,
what
by
what
the way,
place is your wife in?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what place did your lovely wife in?
The drinks he was having last Thursday is what killed him.
Yeah.
Hey, Rhonda, get him to drink again Thursday night when we do
Please
our
do,
Yes, please. Yes, please.
because I believe a certain person was lit. That
Get some
day.
fine age barrel bourbon and let's get him drinking
going.
Thursday night. Start around 7
There
p.m.
it is.
Eastern, and
I will
Yeah.
definitely go to the bourbon because I'm doing a goal of at least 3 months no beer. So
I'm doing a sober October.
yeah, I made it like 12 hours today.
Right.
We'll see
So
how
wait,
long
you're
it
doing
lasts.
so you're doing October?
I'm doing October, November, December sober.
October, November,
Okay.
December.
I can't do December because I do the 12 days of beer miss, so I can't do December.
Yeah, I got to cut that back for a little bit and see if that helps a little bit.
Lynn,
with,
I think you're-
trying to get rid of some pounds.
Lynn, I think that you're
Not worth
tied
it.
with Donnie for
Overrated.
that place.
Let's see.
Lynn's
no.
got to get those IR guys off of her roster.
Officially, Donnie is in last place, then Lynn, then Logan. Then you got Brett, Zach, myself, Eric. Even though I beat you, you're still ahead of me, Eric.
Good.
I think it's because of the point differential. And then Patrick Larson, then Mr. Zach Beeson, and then the only undefeated person in this league, Rhonda, Mrs. Mayor. So
Yeah, she.
What's the
Rogan won,
champion
yeah.
get? Old Fort Dad Hat Chronicles.
Ooh,
collab?
there you go. We'll talk to Logan about that. We'll see.
Okay.
But good job on everybody. It was a fun weekend. We'll see how this week goes. The only one that picked Atlanta. Who was it? Who picked Atlanta again? Donnie, you did it for the content, didn't you?
Yeah, and if I'm the only one if they win, then that's a loss on all three of you guys. So there you go.
True. You're the one who drafted your
Don't
roster,
worry.
my man, not us.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say your
know.
pick is gonna align with
No,
fantasy
not you,
football
Donnie. I'm
team.
talking to Brett.
No.
He wants to protest his
Brett.
roster.
So he messaged me before last night's games that Rhonda was living rent free in his head, and
He's
all
the one that
that.
started it.
he did. He started it, and
Yeah.
Rhonda started. He was a little nervous too. I was like, nope, not sending that back to him. I'm not gonna let him see you sweat.
Nope. Don't do it. Stay strong,
No.
Rhonda. You stay strong. You're undefeated. You ride that, okay? So, all
She
right.
texted me a screenshot this morning. Of her victory, and she said, "It's not by much, but it's a win. I'm 4-0, baby."
Win's a win, right, Eric? Whether 50-0 or 1-0.
That's right.
So, all right. Well, I'll start with you, Eric. What you got going on this week, my friend?
So I have the Earn Fun Average podcast. Tomorrow, Johnny and we are going to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We have on Calvin Cristoforo, the voice of the Cedar Rapids Colonels. He's kind of a newer guy. He's been with them for a couple years now. But we talk a little Cedar Rapids. Those are the high A of the Twins. So a lot of their guys feed up into Witch Sauce. We talk about Walker Jenkins and a couple other guys. So excited to talk Colonels tomorrow on the Earn Fun Average.
All right. I like it. Prospector, what's going on?
So this week we're going back to the West Coast League. We're going to be talking about we're going to Washington State to talk about the Port Angeles Lefties.
The lefties.
So-
They got a cool little logo. I like their logo.
Yeah, they do. The Timber the Olympic Marmot actually is their mascot. So yeah, he's a cool little logo, and so yeah, a little bit about the Port Angeles Lefties tomorrow on the MILB Had History series.
I like it. What about you, Mr. Mayor? What you got going on this week, my friend?
Oh, more damage repair in Augusta. Trying to get those people back to livable conditions. They still probably have 80% of Augusta without power.
Yep.
There are some traffic intersections that, I mean, the lights, the poles, none of it exists anymore. It's just all in a pile over on the corner. So they're going through some tough times, but we got a lot of internet back up today. Even though people don't have power at their house to use it, the cable company's happy. So we're getting things back working there. So again, a lot of that. I repped this morning on my hat of the day, New Origin Brewing out of Asheville. It is completely decimated. Excuse me. I will rep another brewery tomorrow that is completely decimated, and then I'll continue on repping some of those if there are others this week.
Yeah, man. Sad.
Donnie,
sad,
thanks for what
sad
you're doing,
story.
man. Thanks for what you're doing.
And stay
Yeah.
safe, my friend. Stay safe out there, brother.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tough. People don't understand a stoplight that's not there is now a four-way stop sign, and they just roll through. It's like, come on, people. And at night it's dark, so it's
Yep.
crazy. There's still trees laying in the roads. A lot of roads are down to one lane in some places. But there's a lot of crews, power company crews. They had a crew going around today just picking up pieces of telephone poles that the power company had cut and discarded or broken and discarded. That's their only job, going around picking up all the scrap telephone pole stuff.
Yeah, it's a good gig. They're getting paid good money too.
Yeah. So
I believe it.
So yep.
All right, and then as far as the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast, this week finished a conversation with Tom Brazil of the Las Vegas Aviators, and in that podcast, you would hear me say, "Hey, I'll be at the game." I didn't make it.
You weren't there. Val thinks you're still coming.
I know Val is still looking at the plane tracker to see if I'm still around, landing. So we'll see.
Surprise.
And that's the most disappointing flight tracker since Otani to Toronto.
Oh wow,
That's a good one. I like. You know what though? Here's the thing though, and
it's too soon. Too soon.
So Friday,
Patrick.
I was supposed to fly out Friday, 2 hours before the game, before my flight was supposed to go. They canceled it. They scheduled me for 9 o'clock the next day. Then they overbooked it. They bumped me off that flight. I tried to get back on. And then by the time I was going to be in Vegas, it would have been like 8:30, a landing 8:30 there that time. And then I would have just missed the whole thing just to go to bed and then go right back home. So it was not going to be.
Yeah, Paul and I were up till like 1 o'clock in the morning having beers and talking at one of the little joints there in the hotel. And we're like, well, I guess Ed's, and then we went to sleep. And because we went to bed late, we missed all your messages and stuff first thing in the morning. You're like, okay, I'm leaving. Never mind. I'm not making it.
Yeah. I even took a picture, like me at the airport and everything. And I was like, here we go. I got my, I never unpacked. And then it just didn't happen. So very disappointed. But next week, stay tuned for next week because we got a good episode coming up. We got some people joining us for that episode. I'll just say that. Just stay tuned on that one. But this week again, Tom Brazil, the Las Vegas Aviators, which is a really good episode. It gives a lot of good information on all of those brands, guys. So. I'm hearing a lot of excuses now. Listen, I got that's all I got, man. I wish I had more, man.
Val's like, I drive to Charlotte,
I almost drove to Charlotte. I almost drove to Charlotte. No joke.
It was about.
How long of a drive is that for you?
From here to Charlotte, 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours.
If I make it 100, an hour and a half.
Paul legit said like Tuesday last week to start driving, and you would have made it there in time.
Dude, I probably would have. No joke. I mean, but we had a tornado warning for a good 45 minutes. It was downpouring, and then obviously you know what happened with the aftermath of that downpour all up in the mountains. So it was all bad, man.
It
Yeah.
was
It was.
probably an hour before we left to go to the stadium. Val ends up calling Paul and's like, "Hey, you guys are on your way, right? And by the way, do you have Ed?" It was all the way up until right about, and then when we walked up and met her at the stadium, she's like, "Oh, you really don't have Ed, do you?"
Yeah, because here's the thing though, because she was in the know when I was messing with you, telling you that I wasn't going and everything, and then like even though I had my flight ticket had already been booked, my hotel was booked, everything was booked, but I just kept messing with you, and then karma kicked me in the ass on that one. So it is what it is. What are you gonna do?
It was a fun time.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
surprised Val didn't have you like a wheels up plane or something with her,
Were her
popularity.
connections? Yeah, for
Yeah, her
real.
connections and stuff.
Yeah.
You'll hear
Yeah,
about it
Donnie,
on
I'm-
the next episode.
Yeah,
No, I
Donnie,
gave up. I
Donnie,
knew
you
he
know a
wasn't
guy. I'm
gonna be-
surprised you didn't charter him a flight.
Yeah, I probably could have found a guy.
Shannon, I tried. I really did try, Shannon.
Val took us to a Vegas Golden Knights hockey game against
We can
the
stop now.
Utah
We can
Hockey
stop now.
Club, and
Yeah, we can
I
stop.
saw
now.
that. I was like,
It's
dang,
fun.
he's getting a hockey game in too.
yeah, it was
Dang.
fun. And then she went to the Browns Raiders, so she did hockey Friday, baseball Saturday, football Sunday.
That girl's living the dream.
Wow.
She's living the dream. By the way, still bottom of the seventh, 3-0 Atlanta. San Diego. So
Yeah, Atlanta can't hit the ball for anything.
and anything. I don't know, man. Last two games. All right, boys and girls. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the chat room. You guys have been awesome this week. We will be back on Thursday at 9:00 Eastern time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We will be making our Sunday picks. We'll see how this goes, and then we'll talk a little bit more sports, guys. So I'll see you guys later. Oh, and by the way, make sure you guys go to Old Ford Baseball Company, get yourself some merch from them. Listen, Logan does a really good job. He does all this design and everything. So make sure you guys, especially the old support local baseball ones. So make sure you guys take care of that.
Yep.
We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.